Welcome to The Power of the P, the podcast designed to help you become empowered in your truth, free of fear. I'm E.L. Brooks, your host, here to bring you expert advice and effective tools based on neuroscience to help you deal with all the stressors in life, relationships, and work. I'm here to keep you off that struggle bus through the power of the P. Are you ready? Then let's go. Welcome to The Power of the P. And if you're not familiar with the show's format, it's like a Dear John show. In this case, a Dear EL, where all the followers send in questions of things that they're struggling with and dealing with. And I'll pick one or two of those questions and give insight, provide some effective tools that are backed in neuroscience. I'll even offer a key takeaway that you can log into your memory so that you can become more resilient and emotionally stable. So our key objective today is to learn the process of getting unstuck, which is really about moving from stress and chaos back to calm and clarity. So before we learn the process of getting unstuck, we need to learn how we get stuck. So I picked a letter today by Jeremy C. And Jeremy writes, "Hey, EL, I hope this message finds you well. Lately, I've found myself feeling a bit stuck and in a rut, facing a crossroads in life where I'm uncertain about my next steps to take. It's a challenging place to be, and I know many of you have likely experienced similar moments. So I'm reaching out to you because I truly value your insight and perspective. Your advice and wisdom could make a world of a difference. So I'd love to hear from you. What advice would you offer to someone who is feeling sick, stuck, searching for clarity? How do you find motivation and inspiration? With gratitude, Jeremy C." First of all, thank you, Jeremy, for the kind words and the vote of confidence. Also, thank you for your vulnerability as a man. I have to say that the majority of the letters that come in are from women. So it's nice to see that men are stepping into their vulnerability. You have to remember, we all need help and we all suffer. And we all need to integrate both our feminine and our masculine energy. And that's one of the processes of becoming emotionally stable. So first thing I would say, Jeremy, is feeling stuck is a natural indicator. It means our guiding system is actually working. You've probably been doing something that has been not in alignment with your true path or your true sovereignty. It also means that we're on the verge of becoming a new version of ourselves. So it's all good stuff when you look at it from a different perspective, which is what the power of the P is all about. So everyone listening, I picked Jeremy's letter because A, it affects a lot of people, and B, we're kind of still in this new year. And when I've spoken to a lot of people have already abandoned their New Year's resolutions and all of their goals. And it's only February. And that's because 1 in 3 people are dealing with elevated levels of stress. And when you're stressed out, part of your brain actually shuts off. People don't realize that. You actually go into survival mode. You go into fight or flight, and you have no clarity. And I can prove that with this example. If I were to give you $100,000 and tell you to plan the ultimate vacation, 5 days anywhere in the world, by any means necessary, best hotels, et cetera, and as you're getting ready to plan that ultimate dream vacation, you were hit with an earthquake or a tsunami, you would not be able to have the capacity to focus on the vacation that you would like. The only capacity that you would have is to focus on what you don't want. And in that moment, what you don't want is you don't want to die. And that's really like a metaphor of our lives. When we get stressed out, we tend to focus on the things that we don't want, what's happening, what's the problems. And that doesn't give us the capacity to focus on what we do want. And if you know me, you know that I used to race. I used to love racing. I've done a whole bunch of different tracks. And I actually remember taking a course, and I remember the instructor talking about coming over this hill. And as soon as we come over the hill, we have to aggressively turn the wheel, pointing into the wall, hitting the apex, following the racing line. He says, make sure that you don't pay attention to the wall. Follow the racing line. And every single person that made a mistake did what? What did they do? They were focused on what they didn't want, which is they didn't want to hit the wall. And anytime that you're focused on what you don't want, you're not focused on what you do want, which is to stay on the racing line. So in today's world, it's easy for us to lose focus. Our number one addiction is distraction. And that makes it easy for all of us to be disappointed and discouraged. People just don't know why that is. And I always tell people that the answer is actually in the why. Again, people are too focused on what they don't want in life, what's wrong, all of the problems. So when they actually set a goal, there's no real heart attached to it. There's not a strong enough why. And you will never have the will to achieve a goal. Why? Because a stronger emotion is there that is keeping you stuck. And that stronger emotion is fear. Stress is fear. So your nervous system, when it's overwhelmed, will always seek the path of least resistance. And that approach will always disappoint you. You have to realize that our nervous system wants safety and comfort, and our soul is the thing that wants growth and expansion. But those are two opposing energies. One is in fear and one is in love. And the main reason that we become stuck is because of the fear that is blocking the love. So if you believe in Albert Einstein that everything is energy, everything is frequency, everything is vibration, then it must mean that our fear energy and vibration is stronger than our love vibration anytime we become stuck. So one of the best ways to expand and grow is to remain curious by asking the question why. Why has two superpowers, and it's the greatest question to ask anytime in life throughout your entire life. The first superpower is why is the greatest enroller. It connects us to our reason for being. That's our power, that's our purpose, that's our drive. And the second power that it has is that it helps us avoid chaos. It's the greatest clarifier. It helps us remove stress because it gives us answers. Jim Rohn says that all of the greatest gifts are reserved for those who seek by asking the question why. And Abraham Hicks says that we need to tune in, tap in, and turn on to avoid confusion. Look, technology is exploding. There's this natural shift or separation that people are talking about that is happening. And I know that a lot of people are feeling off and they're feeling stuck. Those who are not able to adapt and adjust will be left behind, unfortunately. And some people are just unwilling to change, and some are unable, and some are just incapable because they don't know how, because they're stuck. They're not clear on what they want. So, how do you move from stress to clarity? And one of the biggest secrets is in life, you get what you must have, not what you want and not what you should. So some people have a higher will. Some people must be successful because they have this natural fire that burns within them. So when you become stuck, it's important to harness that fire. But in many cases, we lose that fire. It's actually blown out. So sometimes we have to reignite it. But momentum is agnostic. It builds upon the energy that we feed it. So you can choose to ignite that fire within hatred, within fear, and have that fire burn you from the inside, because most of our source of fire comes through anger, through frustration, through loneliness, through revenge. I'll show you. I've certainly been there, so I'm not judging. So you can let that consume you, or you can channel that fire to fuel your vision for a better tomorrow, for a more compelling future. The question then becomes, how well are you able to regulate the fire within you? So here's a secret. When you draw your motivation from love, it's expanding, it's growth. It's in harmony with your soul, which its sole purpose is to grow and expand. So expanding beyond yourself, which means it automatically embraces more. And that's the abundance of life. That's being in flow, that's being in harmony, which makes it easier to bring something into your life. So love, you have to realize, is considered the move towards motivation. That's harmony, that's being in concert, that's being aligned and being in agreement. On the other hand, the problem with anger, frustration, really fear is that energy is not meant to integrate. It creates dissonance. That fire within says that there's an object in my way, and if it doesn't move, I'm going to make it move. That's force, that's resistance, that's not flow. So fear is considered the move away from motivation. It's incongruent, it's dissonance, it's disagreement. Fear is really the force that creates separation. Fear gives you the power to do, but the consequences is usually by separating you from something. So you have to realize that there are two forms of energy that motivate us, period. Everything that we do is either through the empowerment of love or the disempowerment of fear. So everything that we do has an energetic force behind it, and I call it our personal net worth, where the net is a acronym for neurological energetic transmission. We have to realize it's the fear that keeps you off the bigger path to your sovereignty, which is why you want to learn how to harness that fire to expand beyond you into the abundant world of all possibilities. And the only way to do that is to get connected back to yourself, back to those latent qualities that reside within all of us. That's compassion, that's empathy, that's gratitude. It's really being grateful for all your life experiences, all the seasons in life. I say the good times, the bad times, the ebb and flow of life. But as humans, we all become deeply disconnected. So we need to reconnect to ourselves. And the best way to do that is to understand the three mandates that combat fear. So let's discover the three mandates to combat fear. And I suggested you write this down. Number one is see it as it is, not worse than it is. The ability to see the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but truth will always set you free, as they say, right? So you need to see the good, the bad, and the ugly and do it in a non-judgmental way. Number two, see it better than what it is. What is the new possibility? Develop a compelling future. That creates the drive. You have a clear vision of what you now want, and I call it the North Star. Number three, it's create an action plan to realize that vision, but you need to be ultra clear about that vision and, more importantly, the why behind that vision. Remember, clarity keeps you on the path. The more clarity and connection you have with yourself, the less correction you have in life and with others. Connection is really around closing the gap to where you are and really where you want to be. So in order to close that gap, we need to get clear on what's gotten in the way. So let's review the countdown to getting unstuck and learn what gets us stuck. And I call it the 7-6-5-4-3-2-1-3 method because there's 7 blockers, 6 steps to clear a loss, 5 steps to rebuild confidence, 4 reasons we suffer and lose confidence, 3 opponents, 2 main fears, and 1 reason we all have fear. And by knowing all 7 phases, we can go to the final, which is the 3 steps to achieve any breakthrough. It's 3 key steps. Now, I could have started with the 3 key steps, right? Which is what we tend to do, right? We want to know how to do it. How to just tell me how to do it. But if you don't understand the why, then you'll always have dismal results. The why gives you clarity, which allows you to stay on the path to your sovereignty. So let's discover now the 7 blockers that keep us off the path to our sovereignty. And the 7 blockers are broken into 2 clarifiers or 2 clarity reasons and 5 destructive reasons. So the 2 clarity reasons are number 1, we're not focused enough. We're too vague in general about what we want, right? We typically say, I want to lose weight. So we need to drill down and say, I want to lose 15 pounds. I want to lose 30 something pounds or whatever it is, right? And so if you go back to the New Year's resolution, fitness and finances are like pretty much neck and neck as far as the number 1 resolution, right? So someone may say, I want to lose weight. And the second reason is we don't have a clear reason. And you say why that is, I don't know. I just want to look better, right? So you have to have a strong why to motivate yourself to get to what you really want. And there's this concept around should and must. Remember, I told you in life, you get what you must have. So if you were to go to the doctors and the doctor said, hey, you know what? You're on the verge of getting diabetes. You're on the verge of getting heart disease. If you don't lose 20 to 40 pounds, you're going to die. That is a must. Now you have consequences, and the must creates the fire within you, right? So going back, there's 2 clarity reasons. We need to get drill down deeper, have drill down on what we really, really want, and then have a reason, again, the why behind why we want that. And then there's 5 destructive reasons that something gets in our way. Number 1 is our number 1 fear in life. It's the fear of rejection. And that is masked in the fear of failure, the fear of success, fear of not looking good, or the fear of being judged. It's all the same. It's the fear of rejection. Number 2 is our limiting beliefs or a set of beliefs at a subconscious level. That is our really big hindrance. It's also how we speak to ourselves, right? When we tell ourselves, I want to lose weight. I've tried everything. It just doesn't happen. That's a false statement, and it's an excuse. And this way of thinking moves you off the path. Number 3 is our emotions around fear, which we've already discussed. Once again, you get overwhelmed, you get stressed out. There's a part of your brain that's turned off. It's usually the creative and innovative parts. And number 4, it's bad habits. You want to lose weight, but your morning routine consists of a Starbucks latte with extra whipped cream and a breakfast sandwich that totals like 1,000 calories. It's not going to get it. And number 5 is missing a skill. And it really always comes down to our refusal to evolve. And our biggest skill that we are missing is our ability around discipline, our ability to be disciplined. So when we're off the path, essentially we're lost. There's a disturbance within our consciousness, and many people are not aware that we go through a grieving process every time we feel lost and disturbed. Any loss we go through the 5 cycles of grief. That is shock and denial, anger, bargaining, and acceptance. Grieving is associated with any loss, and I'll prove it. If you get a flat tire, what is the first thing that you do? It's like, oh, you look at it, it's like, ah, you're in shock, you're in denial. No, what? And then you get angry, like, this can't be happening right now. I can't afford this. I'm running late, right? And then you start bargaining. Maybe it's just a slow leak. Maybe if I go and pump some air in it, my trouble will be gone, right? And then finally, you just realize that nope, it's a true flat. I need to call a tow truck. That's acceptance, right? So if you look at David Hawkins' flow chart around frequency, going back to energy, frequency, and vibration, the next level above acceptance is reasoning. And that's when we have the aha moment. Everything around being stuck has to do with perceived loss. Anytime something has been removed, we need to create something new. Everything in life changes and everything ends. When something ends, something new always begins, especially when we create it. So there's really 6 stages to properly clear any disturbance, with the 6th stage being an action plan to create something new that was lost. And usually when we experience loss, we lose our confidence. So there are 5 steps to rebuilding confidence that helps us gain more clarity. Number 1 is evaluate the past. Everything is a learning experience. Number 2 is limiting beliefs, the innate need to subconsciously criticize yourself, which is an unfortunate aspect of being human. But we can speak truth to power to ourselves in a loving, non-judgmental way. Number 3 is surround yourself with cheerleaders. Get people to fan your flame, not piss on your fire. And number 4 is we need to develop self-awareness. What beliefs, what thoughts, what emotions, what behaviors are serving you and which ones aren't. And number 5 is practice perceptual positioning. That's visualize your success and believe in you. Stop sending out invitations to the 3 enemies of success, which are doubt, indecision, and fear, and stop inviting them to hang out around your mental conference table. Drive all of your doubt into a small corner by rebuilding your confidence. Now, there are 4 reasons that we suffer and lose confidence, and knowing these 4 helps you develop more awareness. Number 1, it's not saying what's on your mind, holding your tongue, not speaking truth to power. Number 2 is accepting reality, not being able to accept it. Sometimes we start to live in fantasy, and we live in fantasy too long. You'll soon learn that we don't want to lose what we think we have, so we hold on to fantasy, and that creates our suffering and keeps us stuck. And number 3 is not doing what we want, right? We want to actually leave that relationship. We want to leave that job. And that holds us back from getting number 4, getting what we want, right? When we don't do what we want, we typically don't get what we want. And we don't get what we want because we have 3 opponents that we face in life. Number 1 is our external opponent. That is the outer world that we always view, that we can't control, that makes us feel lost. We want peace, we want harmony in the world, and we don't see it. And that creates our stress and our chaos. Number 2 is the toughest one. It's our intimate opponent. It's our friends, it's our family, it's our spouses, our loved ones. It's the person that abandoned us. It's the person that betrayed us, that didn't love us. And these are all the lessons that we actually are supposed to face to move us back into love. And number 3 is our internal opponent. It's always about us. We view all of these different abandonment issues, not realizing that we've actually abandoned ourselves. We're just too hurt to see that truth. And if you remember Star Wars, Luke Skywalker, at the end of the day, when he struck down Darth Vader, who he thought was the enemy, when the mask revealed and was open, what did he see inside? He saw a picture of himself. He saw himself. So all of our demons, all of our dragons is always about us. It's just those external and those intimate opponents pull it out of us. But ultimately, it's our inability to master our outer world and our inner world. And it's because we have 2 main fears. Number 1 is the perception of losing what you have. And number 2 is the perception of not getting what you want. And it's all because of this main cause to our stress, which makes us focus on the things that we don't want in life. We allow someone to plant doubt, which is really fear, within our subconscious. Most of us are victims to our environment. They have ability to shape our beliefs, our thoughts, and ultimately our lives. And as a result, we tend to suffer more in our imagination than we do in reality. Because at the core, we don't know the concept of doubt. Every single person who is listening right now, everyone's doubt was planted by an outsider around flawed concepts. And when you break down the word concepts, it means an abstract idea. So we can always change that idea. And I always start with telling people there is no concept of losing, there's only learning. There's no concept of failure, there's only opportunity. There's no problems, there's only solutions. I always tell everybody focus on the problems become bigger. Focus on solutions, the solutions become clearer. Failure is the mother of all success. To fail is to finally acknowledge I'm learning. And our number one fear is the fear of rejection. But if you look at it, our greatest rejection always tends to lead to our greatest sense of direction. It makes us bigger, it makes us better, it makes us stronger, and it brings us clarity. So rejection ignites our fire. We just need to harness that fire in a way that makes us move forward. Now we've reached the how-to part, our key objective for the day, which is the process of getting unstuck, moving from stress to clarity. Again, everyone tends to want to jump right into the how-to, right? Right into the solutions, which is why we see a lot of yo-yoing and a lot of start-stop action. But by understanding the why, it brings more clarity, which allows the how to be more effective and sustainable. So the how-to is actually implementing this method called the SSS method. And my friend jokingly says it's the shit, shower, and shave method. No, it's not the shit, shower, and shave method. It's that's a tongue twister. No, it's a proven method to create change. And it's 3 key steps to achieve a breakthrough, any breakthrough that you want to experience. And it's state, story, and strategy. Change your state, change your story, find a new strategy. So let's take the first one, which is change your emotional state. You have to realize that all success is state dependent. If you're in a lousy mental state due to low energy, you're not going to experience success. You're going to experience everything in the realm of low energy. That's anger, that's guilt, that's shame. Low states gets you survival and negativity. And unfortunately, that represents about 85% of the population. And the reason is that our brains are not designed to make us happy. They're designed to make us survive. So we survive and we get by. That's what we experience. So if you want to thrive, you need to pull from the energy of love. And that's the higher frequency, but I say it is above the support line of life. And the mind hack that I give everybody is the victory pose. Because our emotions are associated with meaning. The body doesn't understand language, it understands emotions by associations. And every time that we've done this, the meaning that we've put behind it is we're winning, right? So we're always up. We're always, yes, I crushed it, right? So Harvard study shows that by doing this and holding this pose, what ends up happening is testosterone level increases by 20%. More importantly, our cortisol levels drop by 25%. And that allows us to be clear, right? We're moving out of fight or flight. Then our risk tolerance increases by 33% because we become encouraged. We're actually getting put into courage, which is the threshold that we need to cross to get to must, to leave should, desire, and want, which are actually low frequencies. Number 2 is change your story, the narrative that you're telling yourself. Now, we'll probably do another podcast on just this subject alone because all of our hidden beliefs are at our core, at our subconscious. But there's theory by Jim Rohn called the philosophy of stretching. And he believes that if any time that you say, I can't, then you must. So anytime that you say, I can't because of money, because of time, because of energy, you're in a story and that is limiting you and that is making you weak. So those are the top 3 excuses, right? Money, time, and energy. And anytime that those appear in your story, you need to say that I must do that and I need to take action immediately because that's the only way that you're going to stretch and grow. And number 3 is finding a new strategy. The same level of consciousness that got you here is not going to get you out, right? And I always tell everybody, nothing changes if nothing changes. So you need to look at all the habits that are not serving you currently, and you need to immediately replace them with habits that do. So now I want to leave you with a takeaway and a tool. And I have a pretty cool one right now that is kind of proven as well. And it's called the sun and cloud exercise. So what I need you to do is take a clean sheet of paper, and I need you to draw a vertical line right down the middle, like so. And then close to the top, but not all the way to the top, I need you to draw a horizontal line. And then on the left side, I need you to draw a cloud. And on the right side, I want you to draw a sun, like so. Don't laugh at my drawing. All right. So I need you to take 7 minutes. And on the left side, I need you to write down all the bullet points that make you feel like living under a cloud, like a cloud is hanging over your head and it's creating stress in your life. And the more specific that you are, the better. So drill down on all of those points, right? And then when you finish that, you need to do the same exercise on the other side. I need you to take 7 minutes to write down all of the things that bring you joy in life, all of the things that make you feel like the sun is shining on you so bright in your face that you need sunglasses, right? And at the end of that exercise, right, it should take you about 15 minutes, you're going to have a complete chart. And now for the next 7 days, when you wake up, you're going to look at this complete chart for exactly 1 minute, maybe even more, but at least 1 minute. And what studies shows is it almost guarantees that it will bring you instant clarity into your life. Because probably for the first time, you're bringing what you want and what makes you happy into focus. Your North Star, your compelling future that will keep you from focusing on the things that you don't want. And that is how you become unstuck. So remember, if you want help with something that you're dealing with or struggling with, you can always send your questions to helptolovechannel@gmail.com. Please be patient with us as we're starting to get a lot of letters, and it takes us time to actually go through those, but you just never know. Yours just may be the next episode. Also, if you're interested in my one-on-one strategy for life, you can email me directly at eric@helptolove.com. I appreciate your time. Now you know, one love. Today's episode was sponsored by Help to Love, a platform to open your mind, achieve mental agility, and integrate into the person that you're meant to be. With a wealth of resources and expert advice at your fingertips, Help to Love makes prioritizing your mental well-being easier than ever. It's a non-judgmental approach to mental wellness to help you design that 10x life you deserve. Sign up today at www.helptolove.com. Join the thousands of users who have already discovered the transformative power. Register for the free webinar that will open your mind and plant seeds for your ultimate breakthrough. If you felt this episode was helpful and insightful, please like, share, and subscribe so that you'll be notified of all of our upcoming content and special announcements. I'm E.L. Brooks, your host. As always, I thank you for your support and especially your time. One love.